It is South of Midnight, which is the newest game from Compulsion Games, which you may know as the creators of We Happy Few. And in it, it's an action adventure game where you play Hazel, who is the newly appointed Weaver. It's set in a town called Prospero, which is in the deep south. And Weavers hold the ability to weave the strands of the world. Everything in the world exists via these kind of magical strands, and you as the Weaver weave the strands to become correct again, basically. And as you're going through the world, you find many... I'm trying to remember the word for it, but basically like evil beings and like horrible growths that are brought on through the trauma of the people living in that world. And so part of a weaver's job is to also kind of address and heal that trauma. It's usually trauma being experienced by like lost souls, but also through living people as well. So Hazel's also, I'm pretty sure, a teenager. So you're also dealing with the
Puberty. Homework.
puberty, homework,
Boys.
track meet. She's a
Track meet.
she's a track star.
Oh, yeah.
But kind of the main push in your character's journey is the fact that after a quite severe hurricane in Prospero, your house, which is there's lots of them in the Gold Coast. They're on like stilts. Stilt
Yeah,
houses.
like a stilt house, yeah.
Trailer.
Yeah, she lives in a stilt trailer house. It gets washed away into the
Mississippi?
nearby lake. And your mother's in the house and she goes missing. So
shit.
you're
Yeah.
on a journey to find your mother, as well as bring peace to the souls around you. And so I played this game on PC through PC Game Pass. And first things first, the visuals are just gorgeous. The art direction of this game is lovely. With all the cutscenes, you've got the characters moving in that kind of stop motion way. What I found to be quite amazing is just the sheer amount of accessibility features in this game. One of them is turning off the stop motion, because I can see how it might kind of be a bit jittery and jarring for people. I kept it on because I enjoy it, but like I almost got lost in the amount of accessibility features that are in this game. But I think it's great to have lots of them for a kind of the right playing experience for someone who maybe can't play the average game. The kind of combat sequences in this game are very varied, I'd say, because you're working with, your hooks, which, you hack and slash basically, but it's kind of soulsy in the way that dodging is key. You really have to dodge because enemies are hitting you pretty frequently, and then also they just spawn in like maybe 4 or 5 of them, sometimes like 3 at a time. You're having a fight.
So sort of crowd control plays a big part in the combat.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's like full swarms of enemies, but not even mobs, but like waves.
Yeah.
And so it's very like, smack, 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 but you can't just keep hitting until they're dead, because they hit you and they hit hard.
Yeah, okay.
And so over the course of the introductory sequence of the game, you get 3 powers that you use not only in like the traversal, but also in combat. So the first one is weaving, and with the weaving outside of combat, you make items that there were almost shadows of before. So like, for example, there's like a shadow of a table, and you can weave it to make it real. You can't make anything from thin air. It's usually stuff that's already been there. But, it's always conveniently right where you need it to be. And in combat, that same move holds enemies in sort of a stasis, so you can hit them, and when they're in that stasis, your attacks hit harder, but of course it only lasts for a certain period of time. Then you've got like
This has gotta be the path they took to reach there.
what's it called? Hook
Blast
shot.
shot.
There we go. You've got like an almost hook shot thing, can pull things towards you, pulls enemies towards you so you can give them a quick hit, and then opposite, you've got something that can push them away. And it feels fantastic. I'm assuming if you're using a controller.
Oh god, yeah.
I
What are you
played
doing?
with keyboard and
Ruby,
mouse because it was
no.
all I had. And
We've got a box of controllers. here. Take one
I will
home,
be borrowing
please.
one for the period of playing this game because
Third person with a mouse and keyboard. Rough.
I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I just want to say, oh my god, I'm loving this game so much. Like
Yeah,
genuinely, the combat and traversal gives me such Alice Madness Returns vibes.
Okay.
Because you feel really floaty. Like you start with a jump, then you get a double jump, and then you get a double jump float. And
I remember from the initial
feels
trailers of this,
fantastic.
funnily enough, like for all the beautiful visuals, for all the wonderful storytelling that was there, one thing that caught my eye in the gameplay trailer was that sort of flow movement or flow state of the traversal, which is this like jump, jump, hover, jump, jump, dash, slide, or like, I again haven't played it, but this just looked like, I love a game that can make even just the most basic of traversal from just A to B just always feel fun and always have a few different variations of it, or just always feel for like what is
It
I
feels
think like an 8
fantastic.
to 12 hour game. Like it's a reasonably medium to short
which
game.
I'm so excited.
I think
for.
everyone is.
Do you have
Yeah.
a favorite traversal like skill? Double jump, air dash.
I love a landing slide, like when you land and crouch, so you
Mm.
can continue momentum of that. Like not quite was it Tribes or something, but not
Yeah,
that
I mean,
level.
Tribes
Fortnite.
absolutely is about.
They all do it now. Like when you land, you land and slide. But
Yeah.
yeah, Oh,
Fortnite invented nothing.
Fortnite has
Please
lots of good
stop
things.
talking about
hey,
Fortnite.
had lots of good things that already existed.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this game is there is just so much to love about it. If this game doesn't win Game of the Year for its soundtrack alone, I will be very, very shocked. Because the music, it's got a lot of like blues. It's got a lot of kind of twangy like old country.
Josh was showing me a bit earlier, and like there was there's also some like musical theatreness to it, where the songs are composed and written for the game, and the lyrics
I love that so
are detailing the narrative of characters that are important in the narrative.
jump, jump,
right
dash,
now.
jump, slide,
Yeah,
dash.
like it's
Yeah.
a song about a character that you're
Was this? I think we're
about
hearing
to
it here.
fight
Josh
and
gives it a
engage
bit of.
I started crying in this sequence because it was very, very. It's very Johnny Cash.
I'd say Nick Cave.
Oh.
Nick Cage. What am I saying? Nick
Cave.
Cave. No, I had it right.
Cave.
the first
No,
time.
you're right. You're
Yeah.
right. When I first heard this song specifically, I was like, oh, this kind of sounds like "Hurt" by Johnny Cash.
Yeah.
Which I know is a cover, but like the feeling of that cover where it was like so solemn, and because this song is
got fun.
It gets fun, right?
Yeah.
But the
Wall run. Oh.
topic of the song is horrifically sad, and
This is all that kind of like deep
this
south
game
music.
is horrifically sad because
Yeah.
you're a weaver and your whole job is to as a weaver is to help souls move on, but also help souls that are still around. And your mum is a social worker who doesn't want to bring her work home, but it takes such a toll on her emotional state. So it's kind of like a like mother, like child
Yeah, okay.
situation. Like as much as she doesn't want to pass on the sort of trauma she
But how good that
experiences
there's
at work.
like this sort of a lot of that sort of deep south sort of culture and that sort of a lot of the storytelling vibes around that are around those very somber, very sad, very solemn kind of tales,
And
but
big
done
catfish.
and big catfish,
Oh my
but
God,
done
the
with
big
like a
fat-
jovial kind of
Isn't
upbeat.
that very New Orleans, like New Orleans funerals?
Yeah, exactly.
Kind
Great
of
example.
celebratory.
Party, yeah.
It's just so beautiful.
Oh, it looks so good.
And like Hazel's written really well.
Yeah, good.
She's not like well that just happened.
Or even just a whiny, like being
Or
a teenager.
whiny.
Opposite of Forsaken,
Oh,
for whatever.
gosh.
Forspoken.
For-
The
yeah.
one with the
Oh my
talking
God.
bracelet. That yeah.
Um,
This yeah.
yeah. like 6 hours. We've seen some. Like, we saw a full playthrough was like 6 hours.
Oh,
but it's
really?
Probably 8 to 10. You know, those YouTube.
It's gonna be a
kids finish
perfect
games
weekend
quickly.
game.
But it
Just
seems like
like-
it's really well paced as well, right? Like
Yeah.
you're doing. Which helps when it's a narrative-driven game or
Yeah.
or an emotionally driven game. To go like you're doing a bit of combat now. It's not an open world where you go. I could be traversing or I could be in combat. It's like I'm playing through a game that has been paced well for me,
Yeah.
and I'm getting the story beats at intervals that keep me engaged.
Big time.
Which can. Like I think like that's part of my problem with the open world push of late, which is like everything should be set in an open world where you lose sight of the narrative because you're distracted by all the things that come with an open world setting.
Yeah.
Here where it's much more focused, I can
Well, that's the
see people
thing.
talking about this game until the end of the year.
The story is so strong. The characters you meet are so strong. I mean, look at this fucking fish, and he like
You're
you.
you're partfish.
You end up. I am. You end up finding out that he's the narrator, and like.
Spoilers.
No, not really. The second you
Spoilers.
hear his voice, it's
Yeah, okay.
obvious. But it's just delightful. Every story beat that I've hit has been enthralling. And you're so correct in saying like the linearness of it keeps you focused on the story and engaged in the story and doesn't really let you but like it encourages you to actually give a shit about what's happening to you
Right.
directly.
I'd say also from what I've seen of the gameplay, both in the traversal and the combat, it feels like it has a nice little, a small progression, and it's not overwhelming you with abilities and powers and radial wheels of everything and customizable characters. I'm looking forward to a linear character progression of like, cool, it's, you know, like even like a Metroid, like an Ori in the Blind Forest or something.
I
It's
was gonna
like,
say this
I
looks
know.
like human Ori.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
cool. I know I'm gonna get my
Totally.
my traversal powers and my 4 combat powers, and it's not gonna overwhelm me. So when I get to the end, I've seen everything on the box, and yeah, like
Well, yeah, like you've got like an upgrade system, and you collect these little things called floofs. They're very silly, fun little silly name. You later find it's because they're floofy, and that's why they're called floofs. And the floofs upgrade system has, I think it's maybe 5 kind of trees to upgrade in total. So
Okay.
you're not working with heaps.
Yeah.
But I like that. I like an achievable skill tree.
that's I think what
Yeah.
both an
Yeah,
achievable
an
narrative
achievable
skill tree,
skill
and
tree.
it's all kind of something that can be knocked over in a couple of sessions rather than this half of the year game.
Sometimes we don't want choice.